We're live.
Go.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Pressing Buttons.
Sir. I have to take a page from you. It's 2022, sir. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you. You know what, CJ? Thank you. I was too excited because there's a part of our topics tonight that we got to discuss, and I'm really ready to just. I got my golden shovel and I'm ready to dig right into it. But no, first of all, happy 2020 part 2. Not 20. It ain't 2022. It's 2020 part 2. Anyway, in this 2022 edition of Pressing Buttons, this is the first episode of the year, and CJ and I are back to discuss video games.
I'm glad we waited.
We definitely. Oh well, we really didn't have much of a choice to wait because let's be real, the news has been kind of slow and sleepy. Because
the news has been slow, but it's one part also. We had something that happened personal with one of the crew and stuff. I'm not gonna dive into it. So
yeah,
it kind of put me in a position to where normally I'd be fucking dragging ass on putting out a Pressing Buttons episode, but I was like, well, this is a means to an end. Fuck it, let's do it.
Not only that, we also we usually batch our news topics. Any news article that we hear about, if we hear enough, if there's enough story going around where we can say, all right. Let's add that to the topics list. Let's add that to the topics list. Once we have enough, then we'll go in.
Yeah, but let's get these two ones out the way first off, because I don't want to.
Which one do you want to go for?
Because number one, I don't want to end it off on this, because I feel to end it off on these topics would just have us lingering, and I don't want that. I just want us to get straight to the point and not be like these people on YouTube that do like 10-hour videos on this shit. So it's two things.
Wait, hold on. First of all, Chris, the only reason why we can't do that is because both you and I are lacking the neck beard. So
well, and also I don't have. I think we despite all that, it's like, look, me and you, we're being very nuanced about this. We're not trying to like take a side. It's just like, hey, here's a nuanced perspective because we've been around the block. We've seen these situations happen, and we understand both sides of it and stuff. It's just one side tends to be up its own fucking ass with the shit when it doesn't have to be, and the other side kind of goes way over the top than they should. So it's like, all right, let's talk. So one is Frost. What's her face?
Okay, Indiana Frost Current Black.
Frost Current Black. So G4. So G4 has been on a resurgence since last year. They kind of revamped themselves. Adam Sessler's back, Mike Pereira's back, and we got like a lot of new blood, including Black Hokage, the Completionist, and Frost and stuff.
You mean Kevin? Wait, you meant Kevin Pereira?
Kevin Pereira. My bad. And I think it's great. G4. I think the YouTube platform has definitely made it way easier to kind of get. It works for G4 compared to a network, because networks have different standards of what they want. And if G4 went back to a network, then it'll just be, oh, we got to fill the programming block with bullshit like Cops and all this other dumb shit again, and Star Trek again and stuff. And it's like, no, we can't do that again. So,
I disagree. I think by today's standards, you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. See, what they could do is they could first of all, if you cannot fill up a 24-hour block, number one, shame on you. This is video games we're talking about here. Number two, even if you wanted to like spice it up a little bit and throw in just some tech related content, you can always get a hold of these big tech YouTubers who have they have sponsorship deals. You can offer them a contract to do TV only content for G4.
Yeah,
just a thought. Come on. How much money would G4 have to throw Marcus Brownlee to have like an MKBHD?
I don't think they have money to hire Marcus Brownlee. From what I'm hearing, how much he takes.
First of all, this ain't G4 being independent. G4 is now owned by Comcast.
But G4, let's be real, as a company, they're looking at Marcus Brownlee like, what can you do for us? That's G4. That's every company. It's what can you do for us? And Brownlee is the type of person that's like, yo, I like my own independent shit. I don't have to answer to nobody. Yeah, it'll be one of those I'm an independent contractor shit, more so I'm working with G4 type shit if he does work with G4.
I see your argument.
It'll be a Black Hokage thing where Black Hokage still has his whole his he still has his thing, even though he works with G4. So he has his two things. And I think that's what will be with Marcus Brownlee, where it's like, all right, he'll be good for Attack of the Show when they do their little tech stuff, definitely. But past that, it's like, well, what can Brownlee really do for us past the tech stuff?
Or I don't know, they could hire this guy who used to work for Tech TV and had a really great show called The Screensavers.
Yeah, but at the same time, Brownlee's doing it. I think Brownlee is doing his good thing.
I know he's doing his thing, but I'm saying, I'm just saying that you could hire Leo Laporte. Leo Laporte has some, he has good ideas for shows. Screensaver is just one thing. He also had Call for Help.
Yeah,
an actual call in thing on G4. You could have been putting out more stuff like that. That's another idea, G4. Instead of canceling and killing off all the shows that were on Tech TV, could have just kept them going.
Yeah. But anyways, but back to Frost.
Back to this dumpster fire.
Well, back to Frost. She had a video that was put out under the XPlay channel on YouTube and stuff. It's good stuff. Definitely XPlay has been doing this thing where it feels like they're I love it because it's like they're playing catch up, so to speak, on all the games that since G4 has been off air for a while. They're playing catch up with a lot of the material like God of War and all that stuff. So they have
sorry, Chris. I mean, if you really consider them talking about 2 to 3 to damn near 4-year-old games,
I know, but
reviewing it as good content, I mean,
it's fine. It's fine because they're playing catch up. Because clearly that's something to fill the void of content. But that's neither here nor there. So they have a segment on there called "The Airing of Gaming Grievances," and Frost basically made like a 4-minute video. You can find it on there and stuff, where she basically kind of talked about like women's treatment in gaming. A good, I would say 95.
I'm sorry, I just got to stop you there, Chris. It was supposed to be an airing of XPlay. The conversation was supposed to be about Red Dead Online and how much that game is literally treated like the redheaded stepchild at Rockstar.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be her turn to say something about it.
And then she aired out about that.
But she decided to just hop on her soapbox and air out these grievances. Now, before we even get to that, I got to Tarantino this real quick. We got to go into what started this whole mess.
Mm-hmm.
What started this whole mess was an episode of XPlay where Adam Sessler, Completionist, Xavier Woods, and Black Hokage were all on the panel with Frost. And they were talking about their predictions and previews for Xbox.
Yeah, like this is after E3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They were talking about like what do they see coming, like what are they most looking forward to, yada yada yada.
Yeah, the 2020 was it 2022?
2022.
Yeah, I remember that video.
2022 Xbox predictions. What started this with her was she decided to just come out of her mouth and just start spewing a whole bunch of blatantly wrong and just horrendously misinformed opinions. You're talking about games that were, oh man, these are exclusive to the Xbox. Sony PlayStation is a dead man walking. I'm sorry, bitch, where? And second, these games that you're talking about are not even exclusives. Hell, you like out of the 5 that you might have dropped, I'm being very loose here. She definitely mentioned more. But I'm just gonna say, out of the 5 you mentioned, 4 of them aren't even exclusives, and 1 we don't even know when the hell it's even coming out.
Oh, trust me, that's a good kind of like a pin for when we talk about Microsoft buying Activision and stuff, because it's more to it than that, but that's a good pin to kind of to put in there. It's a good point.
This is before the big topic at hand here. So when this was happening, and I watched that episode, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at everybody on the panel, and they all got this look on their face like, do we say anything? Do we interrupt her? Do we tell her that she's wrong? I mean, I kind of want to just go along with it. And I'm sitting back here like, nobody's gonna say nothing. Nobody's gonna let her know that she's absolutely wrong about what she's saying
I think
here.
they just let it cook just
I'm
because. I
like,
mean,
y'all really gonna sit here
and
and
bear
let
in
it?
mind, I've seen this happen on a lot of other shows where they just kind of look at it like, all right, we don't want to fuck up the dynamic here. Let's go on ahead and just let it cook and just keep it moving.
I
Which
get the
sucks, and it sucks
no,
because
no,
because as an audience member, you want to sit back and be like, somebody correct her, somebody correct. All
like
right, I guess that's where we're going. Okay, cool.
like CJ. I get that. I get that. But when somebody is continuously batting and missing, at some point somebody's got to call a timeout or something. Just stop.
They're not. You know that's
Nobody
what they're
will.
not gonna do.
So they just let it ride. And I said, you know what? I'm looking at her co-host, and I'm going, look, if y'all don't say something about this, the internet will. And guess what? The internet did. Internet. There were two kinds of people that came at her neck. One, one was the people that were literally that were calling her out with facts and saying, "Hey, you're misinformed. You have no idea what you're
Yeah, and they
talking
weren't
about."
even, and those
Blah blah.
people weren't, and those people weren't even coming from like a nasty place. They were just like,
Yeah,
"Hey, we love your stuff. Hey, you were misinformed on this," and that was it.
that's what I'm
Right? Just
saying.
very
That's
normal
what I'm saying. That's
comments.
number one.
Normal.
That's number one. Was just the ones that were calling her out with blatant, with constructive criticism and letting her know that, hey, you're wrong. And then number two, the trolls. And who did she decide to go after and confront? Damn the other side. I'm going after you guys, and that was the trolls. She chose violence with the trolls. And let me tell you something. You never you never fight the internet. The internet is undefeatable.
See, here's the thing. I feel I'm of two minds about this. I feel on one hand, yeah, you don't fight the internet, but I feel the problem is that those internet voices overwrites the people that make constructive criticism. Because I think she probably did take those constructive criticisms like, okay, cool, I fucked up, right? But then when you have majority, and we seen it on YouTube, we see it on Twitter a lot of times, you got the trolls, the fucking dumbass neckbeards that for some reason I don't understand this. It's like, bruh, how do you guys start off right and then you go off tangent on, but she got a pussy. Fuck that bitch. And I'm like, whoa, what does her having tits and a pussy have to do with your point, dog? Like you're getting off tangent here. Like you can and those people, it's like, yes, ignore those folks, right? But at
That's
the
what I'm
same
saying.
time,
Just ignore
but at the same
them.
time, those folks always, for some dumbass reason, because of the way the internet is, have the loudest voices and they always get put on front and center when they shouldn't be put on front and center. And I hate that shit.
But that
And that's going to what you're saying, and I said it too. It's never right to feed into that. I get the frustration. Trust me, we all get frustrated when people do that, right? And it is tough to like ignore it. So it's like it sucks because I understand her frustration. She felt that she had to air it, and I'm not gonna knock her for airing it. Same time, I feel she leaned too heavy on it, and it's like, ooh,
but that's what I'm
yeah,
getting to, CJ.
mm,
That's what I'm getting to,
mm.
CJ. See, hear me out. She decided to go after the trolls by choosing violence, and as I said, the internet is undefeatable. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how right you think you are, no matter how right you think you sound, it never pans out for the best. It definitely hurts your brand. It hurts your company. This whole thing hurts when you go after the trolls with violence. It
Yeah,
just doesn't work. And
yeah.
this is what led up to her little outburst, her soapbox. Hey, I was looking forward to hearing what people had to like what folks had to say about Red Dead, and I was with the completionist. This is not where I thought we were gonna go, but I guess we can rock with it. And I'm like,
Let's go.
and this is where y'all fucked up because let me tell you something. Everybody at G4, time and place.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for things. This was not the time, and this for damn sure was not the place. Especially when we look at one Foscarin's history.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I check your resume, chick. Don't think you coming off all high and mighty and thinking that you were being all self-righteous and activist and all this other bullshit. Bitch, I seen your history. I seen what you've done. You call out the whole sexist, like misogynistic shit when I just seen you literally on an episode of X Play do this shit to a guy's ass cheeks behind him. But hold on. But you're saying that the guy like the people that were coming after you and saying you're not as bangable or as pleasing to the eyes as your former, as your ex co-host that came before you, like one Morgan Webb and one Olivia Munn. Which I'm gonna be honest here, you picked the two most popular out of the vast ocean of G4, like of G4 women commentators, co-hosts, whatever. I mean, almost everybody that was hired at G4, and this is your own words I'm going to use against you here, they were not hired to be easy on the eyes to people. When I'm sorry, this same G4 that you claim you grew up with, which I still got to ask, what G4 did you watch? There are compilation videos of one Olivia Munn and all of the shit that she did on Attack of the Show. Never bat an eye about, hey, this is sexist, this is misogynist.
But that's a different time, though. Let's be real.
Even if it was a different time. Let me tell you something. The Joker said it best. If you had the guts for that kind of fun, you would have done it years ago.
Yeah, but that's not the point, though. I think that's missing the point. That's missing the point of all of it, because that's why I said I'm of two minds about it. I get her airing that because, again, but her airing that was to the degree of the trolls that said that. So it's like,
again,
yeah, she's speaking up for Olivia Munn and them, but at the same time, I think she kind of took away what they wanted to do. Because I mean, obviously, we said in our private chat, I'm pretty sure Olivia Munn didn't necessarily had a problem with doing those things.
She never had a problem with it, Chris. That was
as far as we know.
I'm gonna put it out there. She never had a problem with it. She was in it for the shits. Okay, she was one of the guys. She came in. She used it. Yes, I mean, it was the fact that she used her sexuality for as much as she did from 2005 to 2013, dude. The fact that like when she used it, that shit catapulted her into Hollywood. And look where she is. She's freaking Psylocke from a very shitty X-Men movie.
No, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I do feel, like I said, and I think D said it best, there were probably people at G4 that were like, all right, Olivia, you're going to do this and do that. And like you said, she probably was just like, all right, fine, fuck it. I'm with the shits. Fuck it, we'll do it. Now, granted, yeah, sure, she could say something, but at the same time, it's a gig. Fuck it. You just do it. You have boundaries. You just work within that. And I think I get why Frost spoke up for him, but I'm like, hey, Frost, they were two chicks that clearly did what they did. And I'm pretty sure they had to probably deal with some bullshit past that. But that's those two. Let them speak for themselves. Yes, you probably did get a lot of shit from some dudes that probably didn't find you bangable. That's the thing. Let's not get the game twisted on that, because you see that shit on Twitch, you see that shit on YouTube with some of these chicks where it'd be like, oh man, I don't think Pokimane is bangable. Okay, and dog, like nobody gives a fuck. You know I know. We're
really not gonna get into the whole mess.
No, but I'm not going into that. But I'm just saying, I see people that sit there and say Pokimane ain't bangable, and I look at the guy like, okay, and dog, like who the fuck cares? Like, why do you got why are you saying that, dude? It's like, dude, like you gonna say that shit. You only saying that shit because, again, you're trolling, but at the same time, it's like, dog, shut the fuck up. Like, okay, you don't find Pokimane bangable. All right, go to another fucking stream, dude. Like, what the hell? You derailing this shit. And it goes back to what you said. Don't feed the trolls. Like, I get it. Just move on. Yes, online is people are assholes online. But just let it go.
But I listen, dude, I get it. You were in your bag. You were in your bag about how you felt about being, treated in the eyes of the trolls. And again, listen, you're entitled to feel how you want to feel, but my guy, what G4 did you watch?
It's two different G4s.
That's what I'm saying. The G4 of yesteryear that she used as an example, Chris. That's what I'm trying to say. It's only one G4 that existed, okay? There is only one.
Well, let's be real. I feel that there's two segments of G4 that you could say. You could say that there was that era of the early G4 when it transitioned from that Tech TV to G4 early, which still had that Tech TV vibe a little bit because they were transitioning.
When they actually had 24 hours worth of broadcasting.
So you have that era, right? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of saw that transitioning era when it was going from the latter G4, where it was like, oh, you're trying to be Spike TV light.
And they knew that. And it was
I think that's where she and that's where she's nailing it. But even then, I'm like you, where I'm like, yeah, but that's not encompassing G4 as a whole. That's just addressing one aspect. That basically that was when G4 was technically dead to me, because it was like they
It
ain't
was
really
dead to a
nothing.
lot of people.
It was really nothing on that channel that I can just go to fucking YouTube and watch the same shit.
To be honest, at that point, G4 was only known for Attack of the Show and X Play, as they were the only original content that was still running.
And really,
Everything else was dead at that point.
it goes back to me where Frost like, hey Frost, that's like low hanging fruit. Like that's anything. Anybody could take pot shots at ladder G4 because it was utter shit show at that point. And even, I'm pretty sure Kevin Pereira can attest to it being a shit show behind the fucking scenes. Because even Attack of the Show was starting to go into a direction that he was like, what is this? This ain't Attack of the Show.
Dude, Attack of the Show in its at its latter points was turning into man show light.
And even Kevin Pereira was like, bruh, like this shit used to be fun. This is like kind of fun, but it's not fun anymore.
But
You know, it's low. You know what? I think the summation of everything Frost said is, hey, Frost, that's low hanging fruit. Anybody can fuck. It's like me shitting on it's like me shitting on rap music nowadays. I could easily be that guy that's like, oh, rap music isn't what it used to be. And it's like, nah, at the end of the day, it's a different set of rap music. You just got to kind of sift through it, and you can find some good gems in it. You just got to do the work and look through some good stuff. There's some good stuff, but there's some stuff that's like, nah, it's not appealing to me. And I could easily be the guy like fuck mumble rap and do that shit. And that's what this whole G4 Frost shit is. It's basically a bunch of basically her doing pinata on the fucking trolls. And I'm like, Frost, that is like that's like shooting fish in a barrel. You're not gonna win that fight. You're really
you really
not.
weren't. I don't even know what to this day I will still never understand what made you sit in that voting booth sweating buckets and going, all right, do I talk about the topic at hand, which is Red Dead, or do I go off on trolls for an obvious victory for me?
It's like, yeah, you got the victory for the chicks that make those videos and stuff. At the same time, you just fed into the trolls and gave them more ammo when you could have just ignored them, like what most people do, and just keep doing what you're doing and stuff. I mean, because she does good work and stuff. It's just she decided like I gotta speak up for all these women, and I'm like, there's plenty.
It was the most unnecessary thing that I sat.
I can't say it's unnecessary.
That
it's just
shit
like,
was unnecessary,
Here's
Chris.
the thing. She put it this way. It's one of those situations where she's on G4. She felt she had to do it, and I'm fine with that. That's your prerogative, and clearly G4 didn't give a fuck. At the same time, it's like, yeah, you didn't have to, but fuck it. If this is if it's an ongoing thing, then I'm gonna be like, all right, Frost, what's your MO? What's going on here? Now, if it isn't, and this is a one-time thing, all right, fine. You got it out your system. Let's move on.
But my problem, nah, man. The only reason why I say that this shit was unnecessary is because you could have picked any other time to do this. You chose to do it on an episode of X Play when you guys have the live chat in the studio running the entire time that you guys are there for work. You could have picked any time to do it. Hell, you could have gone on Twitter. You could have put out a YouTube video. You could have done something completely separate from the company. Yes, I understand that you're attacking the trolls on live chat on an episode of G4 that you guys are filming. I get that. But hey, guess what? Welcome to the fucking internet. Number two, get over it. Ignore the trolls. Don't feed them. This is internet 101. Don't feed the trolls. I don't know where or why you failed to like to take heed to that rule. I just don't get that. But no, none of that shit was necessary.
Well, I mean,
in fact, a part of me is willing to. I'm willing to be inclined to agree that this shit was staged.
I don't think it was staged. I think it was just like I do feel. You know what I think happened? I feel she did go to those people behind the cameras and say, "Hey, look, I know we're talking about Red Dead Redemption, but I'm going to go off tangent for 5 minutes. Can you allow me to go off tangent for 5 minutes about something?" And it was like, "Oh, sure, fine." And I think that's it. Now, was it staged? No, I do feel she asked beforehand and they just let her go for 5 minutes because it's literally just 5 minutes. And I'm glad that they just said, all right, you got 5 minutes and that's it. Because she said her 5 minutes, and that's when you said completion's like, I didn't expect it to go that way, but all right.
Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes of I'm gonna go ahead and be that guy, CJ. 5 minutes of cloud punching. All right.
And I mean,
You're punching at clouds.
and she ain't the first person to do this, so I'm not gonna put that on her because we see it in different fandoms and stuff. We even see guys do that shit, and I'm like, hey, dude, I feel your point.
Time and place. Time and
I
place.
didn't even say time and place. It's like,
I'm
dude,
saying it.
no, but that's the thing. I think we as a society, and it's not just video games, it's the comic book groups and stuff, and it's people in Hollywood where I get the frustration because that environment and the way content is nowadays, it leans heavily towards the trolls and the outrage brigade, and it really shouldn't. I hate it too myself because I hate
Yes.
how everybody, including even the mainstream media, they highlight these fucking assholes when they shouldn't be. And it's like, why are we highlighting these fucking neckbeard assholes that are doing this shit? Like, why are you giving them a platform? If you don't give them a platform, guess what? You're not gonna have these people doing 5-minute rants. It sucks.
But
That's the shitty part about it.
But I will say this. I'll say this, and then we can move right along.
Yeah.
I would have been willing to forgive all of it.
Yeah.
I would have let it all go if she would have taken that same energy. If she had just kept that same energy and went after the people who were calling her out with facts and legitimate criticism. Not saying you had to go and fight them, but say, hey, you know what? I want to talk to the people that that called me out for this, that, and this, that, and just address that. If you want to address that part, fine, and completely ignore the bullshit that you're gonna get hit with regardless. Had she had done that, I would have said, you know what? Okay, that was justified. You taking the time out of a live airing of G4 to fight the trolls is stupid to me. Because I really hope that 5 minutes that you spent right there cost you 5,000 subscribers. Because you ended that shit by saying, if you don't like it, don't watch. Peace.
She's right. Because at the end of the day, it's like, let's just be real. Like, to me, I don't even think that costs subscribers. It's like, because look, everybody says that shit. Guess what? Hate watching is a thing, so it don't fucking matter.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
you can and
that's the thing. Let's be real. If I sat there on our 3BG platform and said, hey, if you don't like our material, fuck off, guess what? We're going to probably get more people subscribed and they're going to hate watch that shit because that's where we're at right now. Whether it's on TV, whether it's even the neckbeards that talk about, oh, why is all these fucking politics in my comics? Yeah, you're going to still hate watch the fucking Star Wars and MCU and all your little comic book movies and TV shows anyway. So who are you fooling here?
I laugh at that shit, to be honest.
That's why I was like, that's why I said I don't knock her saying that, because I'm like, even she knows, hey, G4 ain't losing these subscribers because y'all still gonna fucking watch the shit. So, but anyways, moving past this, we had to get this out there. So Microsoft decided to buy another studio, and this is Blizzard and Activision. But I find it even more funny because one Kotick is he's out, he's gone.
Not quite.
Well, he's not gone yet, but
he's not gone. He's pretty much staying. Bobby Kotick is staying around
till they finish the transition.
Only until they finish once the transaction is done, the check is cleared, and all that shit. He's gone. And
now he left Microsoft in a dumpster fire because for those that don't know, Activision and Blizzard as a company has been going through some behind the scenes troubles with they got a bunch of dudes that don't know how to keep their fucking hands to themselves when it comes to women. And they're getting sued and getting
hasn't that been like a real crazy thing that we've learned in the last couple of years, CJ? Like, isn't it funny how the moment COVID hit, suddenly companies are just getting shit on and shut down because of just dumb
inappropriate
shit.
It's like,
it's so inappropriate. Like, why are you doing this?
Because whether, like, look, I still feel this to this day. I feel the Me Too movement, when it's been on the money, has been a good thing to show these men in positions of power abusing their authority. When it's been 99% of the time, when it's been on it, they've been on it. I think it's been a good thing to expose those stuff, whether it's Bill Cosby, whether it's Harvey Weinstein, whether it's people in the gaming industry, wrestling, and all that stuff. It's exposed a lot of these dudes, and it's great that finally you got all these dudes in the video game company. And don't get it twisted, even before Me Too, there was rumblings, because you remember a lot of these developers, and I work with one of the developers that used to work for EA and stuff. They were talking about like the conditions in these companies being shit in
Yeah.
terms of working long ass hours, crunch, pay, and all that stuff being garbage. So all this stuff coming out about the sexual harassment stuff and all that stuff being a thing, that's just the cherry on top of all the bullshit that's happening. But Bobby Kotick just literally was like, "Oh, the check cleared. I'm out. Y'all have fun with that. Y'all Microsoft, bless up on all that dumpster fire. Y'all
Bless
have
up.
fun." I'm like, bro, you left Microsoft with them having to clean up your fucking mess.
It happened under his watch. He could have done something about it. He chose violence, and
He counted. He's like our boy in fucking Jay and
and Jay
Silent Bob, just
Silent
counting
Bob's
the
right
money.
back. The director. It's like, God damn it, man, I'm busy.
It's like, Ben, what do you want? I'm counting money. That's Bobby Kotick. He counted the money, smiled in front of us at E3 over the years doing presentations, and just nothing.
But
At the
man,
fucking video game awards, just like, hey guys, Microsoft, am I right?
bro, I can imagine this is how it went down over at over EA and Activision. I can imagine. This is how I can imagine the conversation. Like, sir, like we're receiving a lot of complaints about like someone has been like sexually assaulted. Is Vanguard ready to go?
Thank you. About that Vanguard though.
Like,
But
bro,
sir, we're
like
getting
he's
sued right here.
no. He's literally got a wad of cash in one hand, just thumbing that shit and going, "Is Vanguard ready to go?" Like he completely ignored everything that was just said.
I mean, it's so Microsoft has been on a roll acquiring all these companies and stuff, and you know,
Good on them.
because they bought Bethesda, right?
They bought Bethesda.
Now, what that meant. Now, when everybody thought that when they bought Bethesda, they thought that means that a lot of their stuff was going to be exclusive to Microsoft, and that's not necessarily going to be true because much like this thing with Activision Blizzard, I feel they see a lot of the franchises that's already there. They're not going to let that be exclusive to Microsoft because that's just less money that they're going to receive, basically.
Mhm.
So a lot of stuff, whether it's Call of Duty, whether it's
Call of Duty, it's World of
Overwatch,
Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo.
all that stuff is going to be multi-platform because
Yeah.
there's still money to be made multi-platform. I think this only means, much like with Bethesda, where any new IP that these companies make, those are going to be Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the one. So I totally forgot that Activision bought Spyro and Crash because I thought that was
because
Sony.
No, they weren't. Spyro and Crash, they were never really, especially Crash. Like a lot of people get this misconception that Crash was the
Sony.
Not just something. No, they thought that he was the mascot of Sony. When
I mean, he was for a while.
No, he wasn't. He was never. First of all, even
it felt like that for a while to me. Because
no. Like Chris, CJ, listen. The reason why that was never the case is because Crash was owned by Universal.
Oh, that's right. Because I forgot the Universal thing was on the. Yeah, you're right.
Crash was always owned by Universal, even during his heyday during the PS1 era. It was never Sony's mascot. That's why every time they showed off Sony, hell, when you looked at the big three at the time, the big four, Sega, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, like, what do you see here? You know, you see Sonic, you see Mario, and to a smaller extent at that time, Master Chief. And then for PlayStation, who do you really see? You really just see the shapes on the PlayStation controller or the PlayStation symbol. They never technically ever had a true mascot. They've had a lot of popular characters from various games under Sony's umbrella, but none of them ever really stood out as like their go-to mascot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could have had freaking Helgas from Killzone, or Kratos from God of War, or the monster from Knack.
You know what? I'm thinking. You know what it is? I'm thinking later PS3, PS4 is when they started really putting their like Sony games front and center. Because you're right, there was like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and early PS3. It was just the symbols. They didn't really do anything. Hold up, Sean. The absolute lack of mentioning Miles Morales 3. Oh, we'll get to Miles Morales, man. You're killing me, Smalls.
Chill.
Nah,
you know what? I'm gonna take a sip on that.
Nah, but Because you're right, it was just symbols and stuff. You know what? Sometimes they would make Snake the front and center because he was kind of like Sony exclusive for a while before. Like,
He was more Konami.
yeah, he was more Konami and stuff.
So
Because what Metal Gear Solid was multi-platform? Was it 4 or was it 5 that was multi-platform? Was it Ground Zeroes that was multi-platform?
no, it was much earlier than that. Two. It actually started with two because Metal Gear
Oh yeah,
Solid
because Two Substance. Yeah,
two
you're right.
because Substance came to the Xbox,
Yeah. Because Substance was Xbox exclusive for a short while before it finally became multi-platform.
and then remember Twin Snakes got made on the GameCube.
GameCube exclusive, which I'm still mad that's not in the eShop.
It still has yet to be released.
And I refuse to buy a GameCube version because do I really want to buy a GameCube? I mean,
Good luck finding that game for a decent price. I still
dude,
pick
it
that
is
up.
Project Justice levels of fuckery with the price. I'm
That
sorry.
is.
I'm sorry. G4 did a good video about why retro games are so expensive, and it's a very good video.
It is. That is actually a good video. I will give them that.
It's sickening, the retro market, because if you live in the DC area, there's a place called E-Star Land. Great place if you want to really bolster your vintage video games and stuff, because they got a really good selection of games and stuff. Dreamcast, it's hit or miss and stuff. If you're looking for very popular games, if you're looking for Sonic Adventure, they got it. If you're looking for Project Justice, they don't have it, so you're fucked. They have some of the fighting games there, which I think is great. Because that's how I got my Garou Mark of the Wolves from Dreamcast from off there. Great that. So like I said, you live in DC area, go to E-Star Land. Great. They even ship, so you can go online and get your stuff shipped there and stuff. But yeah, it's sickening. Twin Snakes. I really want to play that game, and stuff. So I guess
I got it. I swear I have my physical copy sitting in the closet right now. I'm not even gonna run. I'm not gonna run in there, pull it out, and come back and say, "Hey, Chris, I got it." I'm not gonna do
probably
it.
pay your car off with that fucking copy. The way that fucking price is.
Well, not that much. It is going for a few $100s. But
I feel you could push that shit like this thing is worth $12,000.
I'm not gonna do that.
And somebody will pay for that shit too. Somewhere in America, somewhere in this world, somebody will pay $15,000 for that copy. I'm just saying.
If that happens, it's gone.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Like, there you go.
Yeah. But that's besides the point. So I feel Spyro and Crash are definitely going to be still multi-platform with this venture. A lot of people were freaking out thinking that Crash and that Killer Instinct is probably the only one I can see that's going to who has the Killer Instinct?
Dude, Killer Instinct is owned by Microsoft.
So Killer Instinct, I have no problem with that being Microsoft only, because let's be real, Street Fighter is still Sony, is PlayStation exclusive still, right? PlayStation PC exclusive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Capcom still has that deal with
which it hasn't
with Sony.
So it hasn't really hurt Street Fighter, because I think the emerging PC market has made it to where Street Fighter has still been thriving. And I think you brought up the fact offline about how like the modding thing with the character costumes has made it thrive big time, especially on the PC side of things.
Oh yes.
So I think Killer Instinct being exclusive to the Xbox and PC hasn't hurt it either and stuff. In fact, I can't wait to see this new iteration of it, because isn't there another company that's going to be kind of doing the heavy lifting on it?
For what?
For Killer Instinct, a new one?
Yeah, see, so I heard there's rumors going around that Killer Instinct is going to be developed in Japan.
That would be interesting.
Like, if Japan is going to do it, I would say from a gameplay perspective,
could be good.
It could be good, but I want to know like who's doing it.
Somebody said something. There was rumor that Bandai Namco.
Yeah, I heard Bandai Namco was doing it, and again, you can't go wrong with Bandai Namco. But
who at Bandai Namco is the key thing, because it ain't Harada. Let's get that off the table right now. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, unless Harada has already been quietly working on Tekken 8 or something, or Tekken Tag 3.
He is. Come on now. That dude's buried in his room, devising up how can I release Tekken 8 to the masses.
Or I know it seems really dead in the water at this point for him to try to give us Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Look, after he said don't ask me shit, I'm just like, you know what, dude? Just go ahead and hey, feel free to just give us whatever. I'm fine with Tekken 7. I'm still enjoying Tekken 7. I don't fucking care at this point. Do whatever. You know what? I always will sing the praises of Tekken. Let's be real. I'm going to say something real quick, controversial as it sounds.
Okay.
I love the fact that during the dry years of the FGC, Tekken gave us comfort because you can
Hmm.
hate on Tekken 4 all you want to. I fucking enjoyed the shit out of Tekken 4. I enjoyed the shit out of Tekken 5 and those all its iterations because Tekken and Soul Calibur kept us warm during those dry non-Capcom years and stuff. And I enjoyed every second of it.
Technically, not even Tekken. Guilty Gear did too.
Guilty Gear. I enjoyed that time because it's like it was fun. Like Tekken, real talk, when they give you a game, you can enjoy it. And I enjoy the basicness of I'm playing Tekken 5, I'm unlocking all these characters. And the best thing they did was doing their version of the Virtual Fighter Quest mode, where it's like, hey, I can get my rank up, I can play the computer and learn
Hmm.
different things about my characters and stuff. And that's great. And you never really hear anybody complain about content, which is why I think that's how they got away with the seasons and stuff. Because I'm like, I'm not complaining about the seasons.
They were
I'm
like
still
They were like $14 every time they released.
Yeah, and it's like each season was great because it's like, oh shit, Geese Howard, oh shit, Kunamitsu. All right, cool. So it's like I'm fine with that. So if Harada wants to sit on his ass and give us Tekken 8 in 2024, I'm like, all right, cool. Tekken 7 is still alive and kicking, still viable. I
It
don't
still
care.
will be. I mean,
But
put it this way: Tekken 7 will be the game that everybody will run back to if they don't like how Tekken is at the
yeah,
moment.
so going back to that with Killer Instinct, it's really dependent on who at Bandai Namco would be doing Killer Instinct, and I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
and that's the thing that the Maximilian had talked about the future of KI, because I think they're pretty much done with the game now. There's no new content coming out for it.
Mhm.
So
They've
if
been
they
done like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
yeah, the content is more or less done. I mean, they haven't been dropping anything crazy new as far as I know.
Battletoads is like the last big one, honestly,
No,
wasn't
he
it?
wasn't. Rash from Battletoads, he wasn't the last one.
What was the last big one that made waves online though? I'm trying to remember.
Kilgore.
Yeah, Kilgore. Yeah.
Kilgore and Shadow Jago being an actual playable character and not just a clone of Jago. Like they made him like a legit, like his
Mhm.
own character. Kilgore and Eagle. Eagle was another
Oh shit,
character.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, Eagle, aka Killer Instinct Hawkeye, because that's how dude plays. But anyways, um, as far as what they would do for Killer Instinct in the future, if Arc Systems, because I heard again rumors that
That's another company.
yeah, that's another company that's supposed to be working on Killer Instinct. Um, if they were to work on it, seeing what they did with Dragon Ball was fun and it was interesting. But that's gonna be the thing though. See, that was like a 2D game, and this is a 3D game. And I would say from what I can gather with what they're doing with Killer Instinct is whoever takes over this game, they have to do the same blueprint as High Voltage and Iron Galaxy did. You make the game free to play in the beginning. Just make it free to play. No, I'm dead serious. Make it free to play and just follow the same blueprint,
Yeah.
because that blueprint is what made that game
It's
very successful.
it's the OG Capcom thing that they're slowly finally starting to realize, which I'm like, why'd you guys get away from that? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like
Hmm.
if it works, it works. Like I think
And that's see, but here's the thing: High Voltage, High Voltage Studios for season one did an amazing job with the game,
mhm.
and the moment they got bought up by Amazon, Microsoft is sitting there like, well, shit. Like Amazon just swooped in and just took the company from us, and we had like other seasons and other ideas planned for this game. There's a whole documentary. It's called Fight On, the Killer Instinct
Yeah, shoot me the
documentary.
link for
Please,
that. Shoot me the link
like,
for that because for this, so for those that's watching this live, appreciate you guys jumping in live on this. For those that's watching it, I'm definitely going to add the link into that. So shoot me a link for that so I can add that link into the description for this and stuff. So that way people can like click on it and stuff. Cause I definitely want to kind of include that because I know we get a lot of people that watch us live and then people that probably watch the replay and stuff. And I tend to forget that sometimes. So yeah, shoot me the link for that so I can include that.
I'm about to send that to you right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like you know what's interesting? Let me ask you something. This is a good transition and stuff before we go back to Microsoft. Because you mentioned the whole thing with Amazon. I've been noticing that Amazon and Google are trying to try to be a step ahead of the whole streaming gaming and stuff.
They're trying.
Um, I sense bad things about that, despite people saying it's good. I think we are both on the same page when it comes to. I like my physical copies of games. Um,
I do too.
and I understand people, hey, the streaming gaming thing is a convenience thing because hey, sometimes you just want to start a game up. My fear with streaming games is that those games can easily be gone. Thanos snapped away.
uh, well, and we've already witnessed that with a little with a little piece of shit called Grand Theft Auto: The Definitive Edition. You saw what happened with that.
I got the digital copies of those games. You know what? If that shit got snapped away, I wouldn't give a fuck. I paid my money for it. I played it. We talked about it in the last episode. Good riddance. I don't fucking care anymore.
See, but
Fuck yeah.
here's no. See,
Oh, not the new
that
one. My bad. My bad. The
no, no,
old one.
no.
You're right.
When
Yeah,
that
the old
shit
one.
came out, the
They took
good
away the old
ones,
ones.
the
They took
old
away the
ones
old
in
ones.
particular, were all delisted, just erased. Thanos snapped out of nowhere, and no heads up, no warning, or nothing. And
fuck.
and the funny thing is that so many people complained. They complained enough that that Rockstar had no choice but to walk that shit back and
Had
give
to.
everybody
The new version was
old
shit.
copy. It was absolute
So
shit.
so Amazon and Google jumping into this, it's like I like the idea and theory from a convenience aspect, but like I can't.
They're trying to do games as a service.
It doesn't feel like Steam because Steam, I feel like it's mine when I own it, right? You know,
Yes.
there's like Steam is doing it the right way where it's like, hey, look, you paid your $2.50 for Doom 2, it's yours for life until
Like
Steam is not a thing anymore, you know.
basically it's attached to your account.
Yeah.
Unless unless you go through the refund process, and even
Mhm.
if you're out of the window of the refund process, you can still have that game removed from your account.
Yeah,
And
I still got a library of games. I think we all have library of games on Steam.
see,
So
but
yeah.
here's the interesting bit. There was one game that I picked up on Steam that I am still glad to this day that I got my hands on, because that shit has been delisted from the Steam store for quite some time, and it still has yet to come back. You remember remember this little game from 2000, I think it was 2009, 2010, called Alice Return to Madness.
I remember that.
I still have that game on my Steam account. I haven't
Yeah.
even gotten through the first, I think it was like stage one. I bought it as like a benchmark to test out my graphics card at the time. And I still haven't beaten that game. I do want to beat it. I would love to just go through my Steam games and just stream them sometime. Because I got a bunch of games I bought. So, like a lot. I would say about 70% of them I haven't even touched. I just bought them because they were on sale.
Yeah. I mean, it's so yeah, I like I said, streaming gaming, I'm still kind of up in the air. Amazon, I'm like,
Amazon actually has some pretty interesting ideas for their games, because for one thing, they did something interesting at the time when they had launched. They must have partnered up with SNK, because they had listed all of those SNK games for free, and
yeah,
so I got them, and they're all attached to my account. I was like, well, yep, I'll hop on that ASAP.
yeah. So going back to Microsoft Activision Blizzard, they purchased them for $68.7 billion.
Yes, from damn near $70 billion, that acquisition, to own not just those two studios, but pretty much every studio that's under those studios.
Yeah.
So they have access to quite a
Oh, yeah.
few gaming
I
IPs,
mean,
which is
Overwatch, Warcraft,
which
StarCraft,
which is
Sekiro.
great, which is great. But hey, Microsoft, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask the same question that you and I asked at E3. Where the games at, bro?
Yeah, that was the thing. That's the thing.
I'm gonna need you to run them games, man. What are
e-
y'all gonna do?
everybody saw this news as checkmate Sony, and I'm like, I
I'm
don't
like, nope,
know,
nope,
guys, because
nope.
it's like on a surface level, I get it because you see all the IPs they have, and I'm like, guys, think about this for a second. Yes, you bought Activision. Yes, you have Crash and Spyro, but here's
What
the
are you gonna
thing.
do with them?
My thing is this. I still feel those friends. They already said. I think they said it a while back that stuff like Call of Duty is still going to be multi-platform,
Yeah,
which means that I guarantee you Spyro is going to still be multi-platform. Spyro is going to be multi-platform. Like Crash and those, I think those. It's just to me, I feel this is more so. We got this company, so again, any new IP they develop is going to be strictly Microsoft.
yes.
That's basically what this all is, and it's the same thing with Bethesda. It's like, well, any new IP Bethesda makes, that's strictly ours. It's not going to go multi-platform. I'm like, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, fine. That's what you do and stuff. But it's like, oh man, where's the games? I'm like, the games they got is just gonna be, oh, it's either gonna be staggered release, where it's eventually gonna hit on PlayStation and stuff. So that's not really much of anything that's gonna, it's kind of like when Sony did that. Remember when Final Fantasy 13 got a staggered release where
Hmm.
it was like, oh, it's on PlayStation 3, and eventually it hit 360 the following year, and it's like, all right, cool, all right,
Like it's timed exclusive, basically.
time exclusive. I think that's the only thing you're going to get is time exclusive, and maybe exclusive stuff strictly for Microsoft only, which I'm like, all right,
Well, remember when
cool.
they did this with all the Call of Duty games? Like they had that deal with PlayStation where I believe it was with PlayStation where whenever they came out with new DLCs or like new, like just anything new, any kind of new additional content,
Mhm.
PlayStation would get it first and Xbox would get it like a little bit later.
Yeah, maps and all
Yeah,
that.
like all the maps and shit, like Sony got that first.
Yeah,
Well, now it just seems the roles have just been completely reversed.
reversed.
And I was like, wow, Microsoft played the reverse card. Awesome. So with all that said, Microsoft, remember when you bought Bethesda and everybody thought, oh shit, checkmate Sony, the gaming industry's done. You done bought Bethesda. I'm still waiting on them games, bro. I'm still waiting on those games.
That's why I say I think all this is just new IP. This is this grandstanding. Like
If
we
it's,
got that, and then it's like, well, this is new IP shit. That's it. And that's fine. That works. I totally get it.
but a part of me a part of me still feels some sort of way. You want to know why?
Why?
You bought you bought these two companies for $70 billion. Yet
Mhm.
you still, for some reason, in your infinite wisdom, chose to cancel Scalebound.
That is still like, yeah.
Why? Why did you cancel a game that was going to be really good on your platform? It was going to be exclusive to just you, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Platinum Games was willing to, they were willing to put in the work and make the game, and you chose violence.
And this is also the other aspect of why this is going to be concerning. It's going to be it's going to be a pain in the ass for developers. Developers nowadays, there's been a thing, and Capcom has been victim of it, and a lot of these other companies are victims of it, where there's this thing of we have to do something to gain the general audience's thing. So we have to do these popular things that's in these other games for our games. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like it's kind of like, how can we appeal to that group that plays Call of Duty for our game? Kind of thing. And I'm like, that's gonna hurt you. And I think that's gonna hurt a lot of these developers in this company now, because now they're gonna be struggling like, oh, our numbers didn't hit those Call of Duty numbers, so are we gonna get like nixed? What does this mean for small independent studios and all that stuff, And it's, yeah, I feel that's gonna be something that's going to try to figure out what direction they're gonna go to in this kind of, world of gaming and such.
So you think that if a developer puts out a game that turns out to be trash, that head honcho Microsoft is just going to drop them?
I feel that way, or they're gonna get folded. I mean, look at how EA did stuff. You remember how EA Big used to be great, and then they put out that third Def Jam game, and it went to shit, and they
But
just nixed the company.
that's because for one thing, Chris, let's understand something real quick. Def Jam Icon was made by a
Yeah.
completely different team that had nothing to do with Vendetta. Probably never even, matter of fact, they never even made uh, a single part of Vendetta or Fight for New York, because the team that made Icon was the same team that made Fight Night Round 3.
Okay, fair. I mean, but I also think too.
Now, not to say that that was a good idea for them to make it,
Oh
because
no, it was
because
not.
look what happened. The game came out and here we are.
Yeah, you know what? I also think too. People love to put the word innovation out there and stuff, but I get
Mm-hmm.
it, because this kind of acquisition does kind of, as I pointed out before, it's like, does this stifle innovation? Because do you want to still keep doing the same games that constantly gets traded out there, or are you going to give leeway to your developers to be able to do something new and different, to where you trust that that new and different thing is going to appeal to everybody? You know? So it's a lot to take in, but I mean,
The only thing I really see from this being a positive is, and probably the biggest positive would be if Microsoft opens up their indie game platform more than Sony, because from what I've seen on Sony's end, Sony's indie field is it's not in the interest of the indie developers. Let's put it like that.
yeah, it's like on
It's
the surface it looks like it, but it's not really.
it's really not helping them out at all. So if Microsoft was to say, "Hey, you know what? We're going to give you this much support. We're going to offer you much better, we're going to offer you much better support and, you know, more like I guess better headroom to work
Mhm.
in your space with us if you exclusively put out stuff for us." And if that was to happen, shit, imagine that the indie games, proper indie games, get
Mhm.
released and they're on Game Pass.
That would be great. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that PlayStation's version of Game Pass still isn't as
Still
good.
doesn't even exist.
It's not even their version of Game Pass. I think it was a PlayStation Now or whatever.
That PlayStation Now is trash, and
Yeah, I forgot.
PlayStation, the other, remember they were supposed to come out with PlayStation Plus Unlimited or
Yeah,
Ultimate
something.
or
s-
some overused subtitle.
It's like it's not. Like I see the potential, but it's not.
PlayStation Plus Collection. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, it's not as good as what the Xbox Game Pass is.
Not
And I
even
think,
close.
and it could be, but it seems like PlayStation is like they're trying to have that cake and eat it too, where they it's like they want to focus on the future, but they are like, all right, guys, here, take it, shut the fuck up, kind
But
of
this
stuff. And
is
it's like that's not gonna work. You
but
have
this
to.
is the big dividing thing, though, Chris. See, Sony, like here's the big like the big difference between Sony and between PlayStation and Xbox is this: Sony wants to sell a product, which is which is the PS5.
Yeah.
Their main focus is selling the product, which is why they still want people to go out there and spend $70+ on physical copies of games or digital copies of the games,
Mhm.
which still doesn't make any sense to me. Why am I paying physical copy price for a digital copy? Makes no damn sense.
Should be
Um,
less. Should be like $10 lesser,
it should be
personally.
$10 less. I agree with that. Second, on Microsoft side, they want to sell a service. This is what,
Games as a service kind of
like,
thing.
not even just games as a service. They want to sell service, period, because
Yeah.
that's what their whole background is selling service. Yeah, they put out a product of the freaking the operating systems of Windows
Mhm.
and all that. Even though it's a product, it's still a service, because once you use it, you're connected directly to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Anytime something, you ever have an issue or something, you can contact Microsoft. Microsoft offers you updates. Microsoft gives you all of this as a service for buying the product, as opposed to Sony, who just wants you to just buy the product and
Mhm.
continue to buy the product.
Yeah. So it's we'll see how that all turns out and stuff. Speaking of Sony, Horizon Forbidden West story stuff got leaked.
All right. Okay, CJ, you were the first person. I mean, you told me about this, and I just got to ask one good question. Um, so who fell asleep at the wheel at the studio and got that shit
So
released?
so the leak isn't what we think it is. When I heard about it, I was like, damn, the game got leaked fucking a month ahead of time. What the fuck happened? Turns out the game itself didn't get leaked per se. It was more like story assets
Uh huh.
got leaked. So
Uh
it's
huh.
like
Where have I heard this? Where have I
yeah,
heard this before?
so story assets got leaked, and it's like it's one of those situations where I was reading through the story stuff, and I'm like, now recently, due to my ineptness and also because my attention span just goes off when something new comes up, um, I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I had a complete edition. I bought it right, and I was playing through it, enjoying it. I got to a point where I was playing the Frozen Wild DLC, and I had stopped right. I forgot what game it came out around that time, and I was like, "All right, I'll come back to that game and I'll play this." And knowing how I am, I get involved in one game and it bleeds into something else, and I totally fucking forgot about Horizon. So
Yeah.
when
I
it came
saw
out,
I saw you come like I saw you announce that, yeah, I'm playing Verizon, what was it, the Verizon Zero Dawn DLC. Like I click on Twitch and I was like CJ's playing for like Horizon? I'm like, what the hell?
yeah,
I've been so used to you playing the other games. I was like, you went back to Horizon? Shit.
so it's like, you know, I had to get used to a lot of stuff, a lot of frustration, and I was like, "Oh fuck, man, this game." But anyways, so a lot of the story stuff that got leaked, I was sitting back and I'm like, so I just finished playing Horizon Zero Dawn. None of the story stuff is necessarily ground blank breaking stuff because this is stuff that, like, if you played Horizon Zero Dawn, you kind of saw this was going to be the direction they were going to anyway. So I was like, why is this even a story any fucking ways other than because unless there's gameplay being leaked, which turns out there's no gameplay that got leaked at all. There's nobody on Twitch leaking it,
It's a
unlike
story. It's a
unlike Resident
story.
yeah, unlike Resident Evil Village that got leaked. Didn't that get leaked early and people were like streaming it and Capcom shut down that stuff early or whatever?
Yeah, something like that happened, but I think from the way that everybody's reacting to like Horizon's leak, it's not as bad as as The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, Last of Us 2 was another one that
That
got
was by
leaked.
far the worst leak.
That shit got leaked early. People were renegade streaming it on Twitch, and Twitch was like kicking them. I remember I was watching a person, I swear to God, they were playing through it, and all of a sudden the stream abruptly like kicked off, right? So I was like, well, maybe it's my PC. I restarted my PC, went back to the news page. This said the channel is not.
Unless you have a time machine.
I swear to God, Aries, I went back to that page. It said the page is no longer available. I was like, oh shit, they got banned.
Let me tell you
Fuck.
let me tell you something, Chris. How much you want to bet that 90% of these people that were streaming the game set up burner accounts just to stream that game?
I feel they did because the person in question that did it, he actually did have a legit Twitch channel, but what he did was he had a burner Twitch channel in case something like that did happen. So it didn't hurt his audience. There were people on YouTube doing renegade streams to where you had to go to Reddit in order to it was like a because you can set it up on YouTube where your stream is private.
Yeah.
So unless you had the link, you had
like
to
an unlisted stream.
Yeah, it was an unlisted stream, so you couldn't even search for it. So you had to click through the Reddit post in order to watch it and stuff.
Right,
And that was the
right.
only way to watch it and stuff. So unfortunately, Forbidden West didn't get leaked on that level. It was just story assets that was just kind of like, oh, here's what's gonna happen in this story and stuff. And it's like apparently 50% of it's true, and the other 50% is just bullshit people are making up and stuff. So I just wanted to throw that in there because all right, fine.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. Capcom Pro Tour got canceled because of Omicron. Omicron.
I'm sorry. What was the news?
I'm
sorry. That wasn't. No, I heard about it. I knew about it, but I'm just saying. Why is this news?
I just had to throw that out there because I know a lot of people with Jabeli's thing that just
CEO
coming off pretty good and stuff.
Yeah, Combo Breaker did good.
Yeah, did good and stuff despite they had protocols and stuff, everything coming out good and stuff. Everybody thought that this boded well for Capcom Pro Tour, and turns out it didn't because we forget, just like with CEO and stuff, countries are on lockdown because of Omicron. That's the reason why CEO didn't have a lot of Japanese players there. Same with Combo Breaker because of the borders and stuff, particularly in Canada and also Japan and stuff. So unless they were already, some of the Japanese players were already living in the States, they were kind of SOL, so they couldn't really come here. So
in fact, and speaking of Japan, so now Japan is trying to get things in place to, I guess, enforce like COVID restrictions. And when I read the article and it said that Japan, while Japan never technically went into like a real full-on lockdown.
You've talked about that at length of how half-assed that shit was.
And what they did was they asked very politely for storefronts to just close at 8:00 and shit.
We as people that have experienced lockdown for the 3 weeks of peace that we had in the United States, let me tell you something. You tell folks that they can't go into Walmart for 3 weeks, they lose their fucking minds.
Damn mind.
What do you mean I can't go to Walmart? I'm like, because we're on lockdown. I think you can live just going to the grocery store and 7-Eleven for 3. Oh, you can't? Fuck, I guess we got to open up Walmart now because y'all motherfuckers can't.
Like, damn, we got to do this. Nah, man, we got to do it. We got to open up shit. Yeah, I
Because
know.
people are complaining.
Yep, people are complaining. You know what happens if people complain? We can't conduct business, even though we're on lockdown. Business shouldn't even be operating. But hey, people are complaining,
Well,
so
to
we
be,
gotta do it.
I would say to be fair, I understood when we were on lockdown that obviously grocery stores were going to have to open within reasons, obviously, and gas stations are going to open because let's be real.
That's the only thing that should have been
Yeah,
open.
yeah. 7-Elevens and gas stations and grocery stores are going to be the only thing that we're going to be open because obviously you can't function without the basics, right? You
Yes,
need those things because it is what it is and stuff. So, and also the postal service has to run because how
hmm
else you're going to get your mail, obviously, because
and you're not gonna be interacting with people. You're
yeah.
just
So
dealing with mail.
so the only people that really, if you were out there during the early parts of the pandemic, the only thing that was running that you saw, and I think you can attest to this because I think you were still actively going into work. The only cars you saw on the roads were people that had to physically go in, obviously
Yep.
for work, and a lot of truck drivers, delivery trucks, and all that stuff were out. UPS, FedEx were still doing their best to kind of.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. That pseudo level of Mad Max that we were living was beautiful.
I'm glad I took no parts of my mom had the experience having to get to the grocery stores early in the morning, or else she had to stand in those long ass lines outside the grocery stores waiting to go in,
Yeah,
10 people at a time and shit. So I'm
but
glad I didn't take part of that bullshit. So
I mean, I didn't even have to go into work. Like that whole thing of me still having to go into work, that shit only lasted like a week. And then
oh, okay.
after that, I was told to work from home. And when
Okay.
I say a week, like barely a week, like I really mean like 3 days. But then we were told to stay at home and work. I was like, cool, I don't mind teleworking. And then I moved and shit was even better. I was like, yo, I hope it stays like this forever. I could just live here. I got everything around me, and everything around me was literally a grocery store. So I'm like, fuck it, I got everything. And then I found out that the Costco, which was like less than a mile from me, has delivery, and they were actively doing deliveries. I was like, bro, I'm putting in orders. I got so
Mhm.
much stuff delivered to me, man. It was great. It was good times. I really missed that. I'm not even gonna front.
Going back to your Japan thing. So Japan was pretty like, come on, guys, please, pretty
Yeah,
please.
like that's how they were at first. Japan was like, we're politely telling stores and other businesses to just close at 8 o'clock and only operate with X amount of people in like indoors. The shit wasn't working. Now, granted, Japan's numbers are nowhere near ours, but it's still more than enough that it's still an embarrassing number for the country that they're now
Mhm.
trying to put other shit in place to stop it from becoming like us.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'm just sitting back. I'm sitting back looking at Japan like bold move, Cotton. See if it works out for them.
I mean, you bullshitted for so long and stuff. I mean, it's like,
And that same thing applies to like every other country that's they're acting like shit is sweet. And I'm like, bro, Omnicron is a thing, man. Omnicron Persei 8 is out here kicking ass and taking names. I'm just saying.
but Capcom Pro Tour canceling and stuff is interesting because they said they cancel it, but they're
Yeah.
still going to keep going with the regional stuff online because I think they just finished up the Capcom Pro Tour East.
So the Pro Tour, so yeah, Capcom Cup got canceled. The Pro Tour and the tour itself canceled, right?
I mean the physical, like people
Yeah, the
physically,
physical tour, so
yeah,
they can
yeah,
do everything online.
it's doing online pretty much.
Well, again, what can you really do, man? Shit's like shit is serious out here, and as much as we want to go back to in person, physical, events and shit,
That international stage is not going to
international,
happen.
dude. As long as international travel remains infinitely fucked, we're just forget about it. It's just not
Yeah,
gonna
and
happen.
I mean that's part of the reason why Evo didn't happen
Yeah, even
because
Evo didn't happen. It was supposed to be what
it was.
3 weekends and shit.
Yeah, it was supposed to happen for those 2 weekends, and it was gonna be this big thing, and then when Omicron hit and a lot of countries started locking down their stuff, that kinda killed
Cancel Christmas.
attend it killed attendance. Now, technically, Evo could have kept going and just made it a state-only thing, but it's just the numbers wouldn't have been as big compared to.
They would have not been able to recoup. The
Yeah,
amount,
I mean,
you,
they would have people, but like you said, the money that they would have
yeah,
gotten from that international flavor coming in.
all the marketing, everything else that they were setting up for that event, there would have been no way that they would have recouped that money
I mean, and you're in Vegas, so obviously, why would you have this big space at the what's that
at
place?
the Mandalay.
At the Mandalay when you're only going to get people from the States, and that only accounts for maybe half your audience right there. So the Mandalay ain't going to be as packed because, oh, guess what? Your international audience from the UK, the Netherlands, Mexico,
Shoot, shoot,
India.
shoot. The lack of Japanese, the lack, I would say, the lack of all the East Asian countries players was one
Mhm.
thing. But when you don't have the
Canada,
UK, like yeah, if we don't have our neighbors to the north, if we don't have the UK, we don't have
Mexico,
like the
all those
Middle East.
Middle East.
We don't have none of the Middle East players. I mean, just nobody from outside the United States. If none of them was already in the country, and they can't come over here as easy because the amount of restrictions that they have to go through. Like real talk, as much as international travel is fucked, I still believe that we have the better of like of going through I guess when it comes to travel, because we don't go through as much crazy shit as they do.
Yeah, and that's what made it unfortunate with CEO because when you're watching the Tekken final and seeing the Middle Eastern Tekken,
Hmm.
community there, it was great to see that, and it's just unfortunate that right after CEO, oh shit, Evo ain't gonna happen because it's like fuck,
Yep.
like we had this great showing at Evo at CEO, and then boom, that happened. It's like fuck, like damn, and it's like I said, it is what it is and stuff. But what's interesting, I, we've when we talk about the fighting game community and stuff, Hori is coming out with fighting game sticks and controllers for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, they already did it for the Xbox.
Yeah, but like that, I think it's interesting because it's like you remember when fighting game sticks was the big rage during that Street Fighter 4 era. Like
Oh, dude, Mad Cats, and Hori were just
you throw a rock and you'll hit a fucking arcade
they
stick from one of them.
were they flat out whore themselves out to the FGC, and and
Hey,
with good reason. I mean, they gave
affordable sticks.
they well at the time, the cheaper ones were affordable. The ones that came with like the actual Japanese parts, all the Sanwa parts, those were as what I like to call the big boy sticks. Uh, those were always like $200, but now but then you notice that after that Street Fighter 4 era of fight sticks, that all these other companies started coming out and releasing fight sticks, and all their fight sticks have always been over $200.
Bro, let me tell you something. I remember I walked into GameStop and I had bought the Street Fighter 4 Mad Cat stick. I think I had gotten
You
it
got
on
the first edition one, the one with the white size.
the black. It was the black. I had the black one.
No, wasn't it black top, but the sides were white?
I think the one. Yeah, that one. My
I'm about
bad.
to say you got it in your room,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you?
yeah. But like, I remember people looking at me like, "Oh man, he got the competitive stick," and stuff. That was like status inducing. Like you got that and stuff. And it's funny because it's like if people really saw like some of the sticks I got and stuff, it was insane because I had like even before that, I think because don't do you still have your Dreamcast arcade stick?
Not the drink. I never
The
had a
green, the
drink.
green, the green one, the green one, the green and white one. Did you
I
ever have
never
an
had
arcade stick?
that. I never
Oh
had
damn!
that.
So I'm the only one between us that had that one.
Yeah.
Then.
You
Yeah, I had.
definitely had it. I never had, because I'm gonna keep it I gotta keep it a stack with you, man. A good friend of ours, he bought it off of eBay. It was like 100% stock, no mods, nothing was done to it. And I told him, I said, I really got a feeling that stick isn't as good as people think it is, when you buy that shit straight up. And I said, because for one thing, the buttons are smaller, so they're not like actual Sanwa buttons.
Yeah.
And there's like so many other glaring issues that's wrong with it. So he gets it, and he tested it out on his Dreamcast, and he said, "Dude, you were not lying. This fight stick is trash." And I said, "Why do you think everybody mods it?"
What? The official Dreamcast
The
stick?
official Dreamcast
I
stick, you
mean,
have to mod it in
it
order for it
worked.
to be functional,
I mean, it works.
properly functional.
I mean, it works for what it does and stuff. But I do get it. Like if you were playing it competitively, it was definitely like, yeah, you might want to get that shit modded because you get in the competitive world, them shits go off and you're done.
The other problem is like that fight stick in particular, the buttons, you have to get like completely different size buttons because the buttons that they use are like I would say a centimeter ish smaller than the standard Samba arcade buttons.
Yeah.
And also I think the throw distance when you like when you press the button in is a whole lot shorter, but they're extremely cheap. They're like the cheapest of cheap buttons, and you just understand it. If you're trying to get your hands on a Dreamcast fight stick and use it in any capacity, just please understand that that thing is it's stupid cheap, and you need to mod it ASAP.
Yeah.
This this is my fight stick.
Hold up. I might be able to find it. Hold on for 1 second. Let
Like
me
this
see
is
it.
okay.
Fuck. I totally I totally forgot that I had packed up that arcade stick when I was like organizing all my stuff. So I don't feel like opening a container back up. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's all good. But yeah, seeing Hori back into the fold on the fight sticks is actually pretty interesting in and of itself. I think it's great. So tis is what it is and stuff. Oh, speaking of which, we got a new trailer. See, that's great. Light is up and everything.
oh, when it idles, it goes into full rainbow mode. So it shifts. It just shifts through the colors.
Yeah.
I still need to change the artwork on it, but this TE2 is gonna be my baby for a while. You know, I saw. Oh, there it goes.
Ha.
Yeah, it's shifting.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, like I saw the other companies out here. They were, I think, who was it? Viltrox.
Yeah, Viltrox.
Like, dude, Viltrox, their freaking stick is as cool as it is. Viltrox's stick was like damn near $300 when it came out, and then of course you got the fighting stick Kai from Hori. Hori just kept putting out fight sticks. Um, One thing I always loved about the fight sticks was all the other smaller companies that came out, like Focus Attack, Aki Pro Shops,
Mhm,
Paradise.
mhm.
All these guys came out with like all sorts of upgrades for your fight sticks. Like you saw with my TE2. My TE2 has a PCB in it, and this board you can't even get this damn thing anymore because Madcats no longer exists. This fight stick no longer exists, and at the time when I was trying to get it, I was fighting tooth and nail to get that damn PCB because whenever it sold out, that thing was gone, and I had to stay on Paradise's ass about this because I said Paradise, when are you guys getting this damn thing back in stock? Because I know you guys make it. It's not like this is something that you got to outsource from another company. You guys make this damn thing. I said, please, when are you getting it back in? And they said, yeah, we had that out of stock thing for a while. We just never updated it. We actually got like one or two left. And I'm like, dude, give me the damn thing. Like, I'll pay whatever you want. Just give me it, please. And so I finally got it. And this is when I was in Japan, so I was willing to pay the shipping for it.
Mhm.
And I finally got it. And I've been using that stick ever since. I still need to modify it to where it can play on everything, but
Yeah.
I still got to figure out, because the USB connection on this is a screw in type. It's not just a simple, plug in and go. It's a screw type. So I want to find the those I guess those not original, but those makeshift USB screw type cables that can plug into other consoles. I want one for the Dreamcast, one for the PS2, stuff like that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, KOF 15 is going to be coming out in a few weeks, and we got the last trailer for one. Elizabeth, who is part of Team Ash, just dropped. Actually, just dropped as we speak. So,
All right, let's see this thing. Still disappointed, no Yamazaki, but whatever.
Elizabeth Blunthorse.
正々堂々誇りをかけた戦いを
Team Ash!
本当に久しぶりだよね。懐かしいな。
ええ
that's ironic considering after this one, Ash was dead.
Dude, this is KOF. No one KOF is like Mortal Kombat. No one ever said that.
挙手傍観しても好転はしません貫く無駄よ貫く遅い加速するわ強くない貫く加速するわ乗り上がれじゃあ人を除いて
Jesus.
この手に貫く遅い遅い乗り上がれじゃあ我が先行の行くわよブラントルシュの光受けるがいいわ
KOF!
Damn, did she legit pull a Claudio from Tekken 7? No.
我が心は決して折れません
Now, maybe it's just me. If I remember correctly, didn't Elizabeth used to fight with like a rapier?
No, you're thinking of. Oh wait. Oh, the sword, right?
Yeah, didn't she use like a sword? And was it KOF? Was it KOF 13 she was in? Or was it KOF 11?
I want to say that was KOF 13, but
I could have sworn she was using a sword, but I guess they went full blown Claudio with her. So that's interesting.
let me see. 'Cause see, now you got me curious. I'm actually
Yeah, KOF 11. She was in. Yeah, KOF 11.
Yeah, but did she fight with the sword?
Hold on, let me see.
I know she has it. Yeah, she did.
I could have sworn
Yep,
I was like,
she
could have
did.
sworn she had a sword. That's why I was like,
Yeah, she definitely used it back then, so they decided to change her up.
go full Claudio.
But I mean, while I am happy I got some of my characters back, I still need Yamazaki. Yamazaki needs to come
It's like
back.
they refuse to accept that Yamazaki is a character. And I'm
I
like,
mean,
come on,
and it's
man.
not like he was. It's not like he was just like some random character that only showed up in KOF. He's been around since Fatal Fury 3.
Last time he was there
He's an
was
OG.
KOF. Wasn't he in KOF 11 too with
No,
him
dude,
and
he was in the
Gato?
last one. He was in KOF 14.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, right, 14.
But
Just,
he's a freaking DLC character, and I'm like, come on, dude. You made Blue Mary a mainstay character. Like, you made her a main character. Yamazaki is still going to get thrown into freaking DLC status. I'm really hoping that he's at least DLC.
He's gonna probably be DLC again.
If he's not DLC, I'm going to be extremely disappointed with this game.
Which is ironic because
he's my main.
Cause I'm trying to think, Billy Kane's in KOF 15, right?
Yes, he is.
Which I'm like, could have just put Yamazaki and him together and just paired them up with some random new person.
It would have been Gato.
They used Gato one time in KOF and was like, nah, man, that Mark of the Wolf shit. Nah.
It's like chill out. I got a feeling because it's DLC, they can do this. I would imagine they would give us Yamazaki, Gato, and one other character, and that'll be Team. I don't know. I can't even say Team Southtown. Or
it should be Team Southtown.
No, if they really want to make it truly Team Southtown, Yamazaki, Geese, and somebody else that represents Southtown.
Yeah. You know what I find it ironic too is so video games that are coming out and stuff. Shadow Man Remastered did a stealth drop, and I don't even remember this fucking game happening.
I do remember Shadow Man.
The fact that it was a remaster and I didn't hear shit about it is kind of weird.
Isn't that funny how they just drop games on you like that?
Yeah, there's been a big PC revision. God of War PC just dropped, which I've heard a lot of good things about.
Let me tell you something. I don't have the game, but I knew right away. I said, you know what? Before I even attempt to purchase this game, let me go watch Digital Foundry and hear what they got to say, because those guys are like the SAS of, of tech and video game graphics FPSs and all that stuff. I mean, they know their shit.
Yeah.
So I watched that. As soon as I watched that video, I said, okay, I'm gonna drop some money on it. I'm definitely gonna buy it because
I mean, I think
they
you the one that predicted it that that shit hits PC is gonna be a fucking game changer.
not just no. See, it wasn't that it was gonna be a game changer. Remember what I had said for this game to drop on PC, it has to be 100% optimized.
Yeah.
This game has to be optimized. We're talking Doom levels of optimized.
I feel it also changes up the way the game plays and stuff, particularly with certain like I'm pretty sure the draw distance and all that stuff is going to play a part in terms of how you face off against certain bosses.
That's the other thing. That was one of the things that was criticized, that there was no draw distance put into the game.
That sucks.
Like there was no way to adjust it. Just like they did say the game does support 16 by 9, 21 by 9, so it does support ultra wide, but it was lacking in like one or two things. But the game is still a very polished game that you can play, and that's enough to make me happy. I said, because asking for games to be polished and optimized on PC is literally asking for a miracle in this day and age.
Yeah.
There was another game that dropped too, Monster Hunter Rise on PC.
Yep, I'm seeing a lot of influx of people playing that on Twitch as well. That new Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out. That's the one where it's like free roaming, free roaming world Pokemon, which everybody has been asking Nintendo to fucking do for God knows how long and stuff. So
I'm still asking Nintendo, hey Nintendo, can we get a Pokemon Snap where we can use the camera from our controller?
Nah, this gonna give you
no, seriously. The greatest thing that they could have done was give us Pokemon Snap on the Wii U at the time, because you had a camera on the Wii U's gamepad, and that would have worked.
The Wii U crawled so the Switch could walk.
Tell me about it. And now the Switch,
I still feel to this day that the Wii U did not need to happen because there was so much longevity in the Wii that it was just like, really? Like you could have just did the same shit on a fucking Wii and you've been fine. Like, what are we doing here?
They could have did that, but they were just, I don't know. Nintendo was feeling
that Wii U era was trash. I'm glad I didn't jump on board that shit. I am so glad I didn't.
No, it had some hits. There were definitely some hits. It was still like at the time, it was still the only console that you could play Bayonetta 2 on.
Okay, that's fair.
And but of course that quickly got rectified when the Switch came out and they said, yeah, we're bringing back all our Wii U titles. And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah. I have no reason to touch this damn thing again.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection drops this month. I think
I'm looking forward to that because that's.
I mean, I already got those games on the PlayStation 4, so it's like,
yeah, but I want listen. You just saw what they did with God of War. They can do it again with Uncharted. I want to play the game properly. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. This game was made to be a movie. It was made to be a masterpiece.
All right.
Can I please play it on a proper system? Play it on PC. Give me unlocked frame rates. Give me full 21 by 9 ultra wide support. I have an ultra wide monitor. I would like to play it as such.
I just find it funny that like next month, like the Wii is getting love with like games that already got released. Like finally, the Kingdom Hearts 3, the 2.8 collection, this on the Switch.
But wait, hold on. Slow down.
Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection. I'm like, didn't this already come out?
Wait. Slow down, Sparky. See, all those games that you're mentioning, they're only the cloud versions.
I know. I'm just saying. It's just the fact that it's hitting the Switch. And I'm like, all right.
It's not so much. It's not as much love as you think it is.
I know, but it's just kind of like, all right, I guess. I mean, Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection. Cool, I guess. I don't give a fuck about Assassin's Creed anymore, honestly.
Did over here.
Destiny 2 is still alive and kicking with the Witch Queen. I forgot they announced that trailer a couple of weeks ago. So good for Destiny thing. Elden Ring is the big one that everybody has been like really anticipating and stuff as like the game of the year already and stuff, which I'm like, I might dabble in some Elden Ring, maybe. We'll see how I'm feeling.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, everyone says, the Elden Ring game is, pretty much the next big Souls game.
I mean, yeah. The one that me and D are definitely jumping on. This is like literally like the first week of March. Gran Turismo 7, because they have been upping the fucking the tracks. Daytona track is going to be in Gran Turismo 7. They did like a big trailer for that, which I'm like, uber excited for because Daytona and Gran Turismo is like the greatest shit ever.
Mhm.
Like just insane. Um, and Kirby Forgotten Land.
I'm
Yeah,
looking forward. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That looks fun.
yeah. Supposedly there's a rumor that Square is going to very soon, like in some weeks, finally expand on the Final Fantasy VII remake. Because if you play the Yuffie side thing,
Oh,
they definitely
integrate.
yeah, integrate. They definitely left it open to so we now know they're going to be going to that mansion for Vincent,
No, the
apparently
Shinra
the
Mansion.
Shinra mansion and stuff. That's what they're walking towards. So apparently Square is going to be doing a big announcement regarding that. And I'm like, all right, Square, we're still
Still,
looking at you.
so
Still looking
still,
at you.
no, so still no part two.
Well, that's the thing. The announcement's supposed to be a part 2. So I'm like, all right, still waiting.
What
Don't
I'm hoping is when all of this is done, when all this is said and done, the game gets completely repackaged and it's released as one big game
I think that's going to benefit a lot of folks that didn't,
that
jump
did
on it.
not play it at all.
Yeah. So, that's the biggest thing that's happening these next couple of months and stuff. February, late January, February, and March and stuff. Like I said, Horizon Forbidden West drops same time as KOF 15, which that's going to be an interesting weekend of gaming between those two games and stuff. KOF 15. I think KOF 15. I'm curious on what the tutorial is like because I thought KOF 14's tutorial was all right. Like nothing really
I,
groundbreaking.
if anything, if they make it better than KOF 14s, that would be really interesting
As long as
because
it isn't 13s. Yeah, fuck you if you never played KOF. So yeah. 13s is
that
just
I swear
sink or swim.
KOF 13 was like probably the biggest divide of the KOF fan base.
Tell you, man, that game was sink or swim. It's either you deal with it or you don't. I'm like, fuck.
Dude,
Man.
when I saw Justin Wong struggle in the combo trials, I'm like, bro, this shit was
The
real.
fact that characters like Maxima had like less trials than other characters, I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah. See, but the difference with this one, at least with KOF 14, was everybody had 5.
Ooh, get the fuck out of here. SNK versus Capcom Car
Oh
Fighters.
yeah, the car. Yeah, that
That
I
got a
forgot.
stealth drop.
It
Damn.
did. It got a stealth drop on Switch.
Ooh, I might have to play that.
Yeah,
I might have to play that because
I can put. You know what? Thanks. Thanks for for that info because I did hear about it. I was like, oh, they just stealth dropped that game out of nowhere.
it's like, yeah, guys, SNK Capcom Clash. Have fun.
Just like the Neo Geo, I think it was the Neo Geo Pocket Collection that dropped, and
Is that worth it to you personally? As somebody that
as
between us three
someone,
that had a Neo Geo Pocket, is that worth it to you?
okay, if you never owned the Neo Geo Pocket Color at the time, and especially when getting games was hard as hell to come by,
Mhm.
yes, it's worth it. A lot of the games are still fun to play to this day. Hell, the what was it? Capcom vs SNK, probably one of the best handheld versions of that game was released on Switch.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's worth it.
Man.
Hell, I
Since
got it. I got it on Switch.
since you're close to it, what's the latest on graphics cards? Is relief in sight, or are we still kind of like sink or swim mode at this point still? Which that doesn't sound good at all. That doesn't sound good at all. No relief. No relief. Gotcha. No
Oh,
relief.
no, no, no.
Gotcha.
Let me stop. Let me stop. I'm just kidding. So I did go to my local micro center, and
Mhm.
to my surprise, I saw there were 2 glass cases. One glass case was all AMD, everything AMD.
Okay.
The other glass case was all NVIDIA.
Okay.
The NVIDIA section, to my surprise, I saw a whole lot of 1050s, 1050 Ti's. And I looked at them and I said, wow, those are some weak ass cards, but good to see them show some, like some.
Now,
Just,
now, before
no,
you
no, no, no.
continue, now for those that don't know, now those graphics cards you mentioned, the 1050s, are they good if you're a person that just wants to play recent games? Yes or no? Just for people that don't know this, I know the answer,
No,
but do other people know the answer?
No, CJ, just please allow me to just ask the people the question here. How desperate are you?
God damn, dude, you didn't have to say it like that. Fuck.
No. I'm just asking. That's why I had to take off the glasses. I had to take off the Kevin Samuels and just say, how desperate are you to to play these games? Because the 1050, even the 1050 Ti is a 4 GB video card, and it's nowhere near the. I don't even think it's even an RTX. No, it's not even RTX. So you're not getting ray tracing.
Okay.
You're getting like last gen tech in
So
these
PlayStation
cards.
4 tech.
Pretty much.
Okay.
No ray tracing, nothing. I mean, don't expect to push your games at like the highest settings. Don't expect to run Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal on fucking ultra or or insane levels. Don't expect that. You can run the game, I would say, from mid to mid high settings.
Yeah.
Depending on your setup, but when you factor in the price for that, you're paying original retail of what the 30 series cards were going for. So think about this. 3070, 3080 were like $600-700 cards. The 1050 Ti on paper should honestly be worth no more than 250. Like I would say no more than 190 to 250.
So
in that range. And Micro Center, hold on. And Micro Center had the nerve to charge these things, these 1050s, for $450 to $500.
So
that's why I asked, how desperate are you?
So if I'm a person that say I'm building a new PC now, but I really want to play it now instead of waiting for an updated graphics card, and I want to play this new God of War on PC, for instance, it just dropped. Could I still play it, or it would be out of the realm of not happening because of probably what they might
if you're
want
running
for that game?
So if you're running a 1050 Ti, and again, I don't know the specs of your full setup, even if you try to run a 1050 Ti, and as much as NVIDIA tries to push people to not go SLI anymore, because not too many titles even support SLI. So it's not like you can run out and buy two 1050 Ti's and put them together and hope for the best. Because even if you did that, you're still putting together two 4 GB cards, which makes an 8 GB card. But since the games that NVIDIA is optimizing for are specifically asking for one large card instead of two cards, the most you can do, at least in my opinion, even though the game is very optimized, so you are in luck, I would still run it like mid. Just run it mid settings.
Okay, so it could work for the new God of War, but
it can work. It's just it's gonna struggle. You might get some. I'm not even gonna say might. You are gonna get some frame drops at some point.
But if you don't care about it, you're just like, I could play God of War on PC. That's all that matters.
Again, if you play it on low mid settings, don't try to run this shit on like the highest level of performance and expect to get a super smooth game. It just isn't gonna work like that.
All right. So they had 1050s. So what happened afterwards?
I would just say ignore it. Now, if you want to spend...
No, I'm talking about when you were inside the store, you say you saw the 1050s in the cabinets and then you...
when I saw the 1050s, I just looked at it and said, yeah, those are some weak ass cards. I mean, if I was building like, I don't know, an emulator station or something, to play
that works.
Like, no, not just, and I'm not even talking like Nintendo, Super Nintendo's Genesis shit. No, I mean, if I wanted to run like some allegedly run some arcade games ripped from the arcade machine on my PC, I would run something like that. Or even if I just wanted a streaming machine, I would get some.
Yeah.
What in the world? What is that?
What I do?
I do something. There's some sound interference coming through.
Oh, it might came from IGN because I was on IGN.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so is it good?
I still hear it.
Dow, anything?
It's still click. It's still bugging out.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is, but whatever. But so
But
after that, so what
no,
else did they have?
but what they had was, Nvidia was still looking kind of still, it was still looking hurt. They had like one 2060 card, and I would recommend you just buy that if you can't get none of the 30
How much was
series.
2060 going?
That one was going for like 6, 7.
It's not bad.
It's not bad for a last gen card. It's
I mean, it worked. I mean, look,
and it's at least a 6 gig. If I'm trying to get something that's going to last, especially in this drought ass era that we're living in, of graphics
2060
cards,
is like beggars can't be choosers. Get it?
like a 2060 is my laptop. It's the same card as in my laptop that I
Yeah.
bought in 2020, and you're at least getting ray tracing because it is an RTX card.
Yeah.
On on AMD side,
Mm-hmm.
this is where the majority of graphics cards were. All the graphics cards was all the AMD cards. Everything from the from 6600, 6700, 6800, and even the 6900 cards. All were there. Regular air cooled cards, water cooled graphics cards. They were all there for the taking. Here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think your future mortgage payment is going to be?
Those things are probably going for like 1,200 if I were to take a guess.
And Chris, I'm gonna need you to drop another 1,000 on top of that.
They want those cars for $2,200.
22, between 22 and 26.
Is there a payment plan?
A payment plan. Payment plan would only exist on your credit card, there, sir. Not in store.
I mean, look, my credit card has a huge amount that I can charge to it and stuff, but I would be like, do I really want to put 2,200 on my credit card for this?
It ain't worth it.
And my thing is,
especially for AMD,
like I would feel more comfortable paying for the 2060 with the hope that it will last me for a while until the price.
And it will.
Until like whenever we get past this weird, I hope crypto burns to the fucking ground. I really do. I'm sorry. Like part of this whole thing with the graphics thing is two parts. It's because it was initially because of COVID, because of productions and stuff. And then the emerging crypto market,
the crypto mining
took all the graphics cards, which I'm glad that some politicians in these countries are finally taking these fucking crypto markets to task for this shit, because it's like, bruh, you're killing the market right now because you're taking all these graphics cards and you're not doing shit with them.
And just building crypto farms.
Yeah, and it's starting to be. So I'm glad some politicians in these countries, including China, are finally locking that shit down. Like, nah, bro, you're not going to do this shit because you're fucking up the market right now.
It's not even so much the country. See, here's what Nvidia did. Like my card in particular, I bought a 3080 from Zotac, and when I bought it, it's like stamped on the on the package, LHR. And the LHR basically means low hash rate. It's the hash rate on it is so like it's discouraging levels of low to stop people from buying these cars just for crypto mining.
Yeah.
So when I bought the card, I said, fuck it. Like, I only want this so I can play games. Like, I have no interest in trying to mine crypto with it, because even if you bought one, it's still not enough. Like, you need at least 4, 5, 6 to 8 or even 10 fucking cards to properly mine for crypto. And, at least that's to do it right way if you're trying to get some kind of profit out of it. But some people think that they're just running out and buying one damn card that they're going to start a crypto farm with it. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that, especially if the card has a low hash rate. Which brings me to something else that took place at Micro Center. So get this. I'm in Micro Center, right? I was with my friend, he was picking up some stuff, and I was watching the guys that were coming back from, where you go in to pick up stuff from, because you put it on reserve on the website.
Yeah.
So we were at that section.
Yeah.
I see this guy wheel out a cart from the back from like all the stuff that was returned. And I saw two graphics cards. One was a 3080 Ti and the other one was a 3090. So when I saw the cards, I said, are y'all gonna put those cards back out on the lot or something? And they're like, oh no. I was like, what's up with these two cards? What's up with them? Dude tells me, well, the 3080 Ti was just like it was returned because it was just dead on arrival. Like it was just a dead card. I'm like, how does that even work? I'm like, how the hell is that a dead card? And then the 3090 was returned because I guess someone who had the person who bought it was buying it with the intention of crypto mining with it, and they said something about, oh, it doesn't, it wouldn't mine fast enough, it wouldn't do it fast enough. I'm like, did the guy happen to look at the card and see if it said low hash rate? If it's got a low hash rate, he's not going to be able to mine with it like he thinks he is.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, look, man, look, you can't fix stupid. And I just said, you know what, thank you. He kept it real with me. I said, at that point, I was like, dude, that's such a waste. That was a waste of two good cards. One was actually dead, and the other one, dude, couldn't mine it properly. And that was a 3090. That's a 24 gig video card. Dude, with a card like that, you do not need to change your graphics card for probably, I would say, maybe the next 15 to 20 years. That's a 24 gig card. What game out there is demanding 24 gigs of video memory?
Yeah.
Hell, what game is even demanding 10 gigs of video memory?
Not too many games are pushing it to those heights.
Besides the Resident Evil remakes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Like when you push the image quality like stupid high, then that's when we're in the at that point it goes into like 12 or 13 gigs. But those games were like rendered like something crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Resident Evil, this is just a quick bit of news I wanted to drop. Hold on, let me grab this real quick. This is actually in regards to Resident Evil 4. So the Resident Evil 4. Or was it on Steam? Oh wait, here we go.
Yeah.
So here's the news, and I'm just gonna copy and paste this so you can throw it in the thing here. All right, go to the private chat on StreamYard real quick.
All right,
and just blow this up for me.
Resident Evil 4 HD project.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. Oh, you know what? That was something else I really should have mentioned too. Yeah, you're right. It was something with Resident Evil that I wanted to bring up about that. So this works perfectly.
Yeah, so check it out. So as it states here, Resident Evil 4's HD project full remaster is will be released on February 2nd of 2022. This has been a super long time coming because the guy, this whole thing was done by two guys out of college. They have worked on this thing for the better part of, I want to say, for the better part of 10 years.
Yeah.
At least if I want to say 10 years. Like they've worked on this for a long, long time. Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, this says the last version of this mod that the team released to the public was back in 2018. And they still were fixing a lot of stuff. And trust me, the very first time that they released the HD project, I think they only had like one section of the game done, and it was only just the village. Everything else went back to normal. So I just waited over time until it was at least 80% done. And at this point, they're still working on like maybe one or two other things. There's some, I think like out of all the stuff that's left to go, there's like 90. Everything is like at 90% on like very few things, but everything else is like 100% complete. So come next month, February 2nd is the full drop. The full is going to be full free. It's absolutely free. This HD project it's something else. I mean,
so isn't it like a patch on Steam essentially?
It's not even a patch on Steam. It's really just a free download. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to put it into Steam to where it'll be a part of the what the hell is it called? Steam Showcase. Was it Showcases?
Oh, okay.
So Either way, this is an absolutely free mod. Hell, even the current version, it's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for no part of this mod, and it's by far the greatest mod that Resident Evil 4 has ever had.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too. You mentioned that up. So, there's a group of people that are putting out a Resident Evil 1
Yeah,
and Code
Resident Evil 1
Veronica
and Code Veronica. I know. Yeah.
thing, and the one remake is using assets from Resident Evil 3 for Jill and certain things from Resident Evil 2 remake
Mm-hmm.
to do Resident Evil 1, and what they did for the Code Veronica was pretty much similar to what they did
Yeah,
for the
they're just
Resident Evil
using
1.
assets.
They're using assets. Now, the team itself that did these remakes, Capcom pretty much tapped them and was like, "Hey, why don't you be part of our
Yep.
new developers program?"
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happened for the same group that did the Resident Evil 2 fan remake and the 3 fan remake. They got tapped, and that's how those Capcom ended up eventually doing the 2 remake and that, because they kind of gleaned ideas from what those people brought to the table for those remakes. So
it's also a smart move.
yeah. So part of me feels, and I knew I was right on the money on this. We are going to get a Code Veronica remake, and it's going to probably be Capcom like, "Hey, that's a good idea for that Code Veronica remake. That's a good idea for the Run remake. All right, maybe we can do that."
And if that Capcom leak if there's any truth to that Capcom leak, we're getting a real release, like a real re-release of Resident Evil 3 remake.
That would be good. I honestly, I don't know with Resident
It
Evil 4.
needs it.
I gotta be honest with you. After playing through Resident Evil 4 recently, I don't know how you can necessarily.
How can you remake it?
How can you really remake it when it was really good, unless you adjust the controls for it? But other than that, I thought the game was actually pretty perfect the way everything was structured.
I'm with you, but the only reason why that version, you want to know why that version of Resident Evil 4 even exists?
Why?
Like, because Resident Evil 1 remake tanked on GameCube when it was released, because they were gonna make 4.
I thought it did pretty good.
No, it was only exclusive to the GameCube at the time, and not many people bought the GameCube, and so because of that, they went back that following year and changed everything. So that Resident Evil 4 that we saw of Gohan, Jesus Christ, of Leon walking around the mansion with that like he's just walking around carrying a flashlight, and there's that Hookman ghost chasing him and shit. They scrapped all of that. Well, sort of. They kept like some aspects of it later into the game, like like with the guys in the armor. Like when we see the armor come to life, those were brought in, and like a lot of the layouts of the rooms inside the castle were also brought into the final game. But the Hookman, they got rid of them. Now, the reason why that they scrapped all that was because of the feedback that they got of Remake. Even though Remake 1 is still beloved by a lot of fans, it just didn't do well sales-wise. Yeah. So Capcom just figured, all right, well, let's go back. Let's change all of this. Let's change the way that we're going to do Resident Evil 4, make it an over-the-shoulder game, and make it a little bit more action-based. So when they changed it to that, to their surprise, everybody loved it. Everybody loved Resident Evil 4 because it was different, and it was just a good game altogether, which is why they went in and went, turned the volume up even more when they gave us Resident Evil 5, which, by the way, you and I need to stream that game together.
Yeah, that needs to happen. Like I said, I do understand quality of life changes and stuff, but it's just like when I look at 4, I'm like I just hope whatever they're doing for this remake, I hope it doesn't take away from the stuff. Like if they make adjustments, because I thought the enemy patterns in 4 was still fucking great. Like
that adaptive difficulty. That's what it was.
Because basically, okay, so for those that aren't really familiar with 4 and stuff, there's an adaptive difficulty if you play it on normal mode, where the more good that you do and don't get hit, it goes up to, I think there's a adaptive difficulty level up to, it maxes out at 9.
Yeah.
That's the highest to go.
Yeah.
So 9 is the highest that it can go. Whereas if you play it on professional mode, which is the hardest difficulty, it stays at 10. 10 is the 10 difficulty level is special just for professional difficulty. But if you play it on normal, the highest it can go is 9. That's the highest it can go. So
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that you can get away with on normal doesn't really apply on professional difficulty, even though you can kind of skew some things your way in that mode and stuff a little bit.
There's a lot of things, but there's a lot of ways that you can get around the adaptive difficulty. Like good
Yeah.
example, that one stage, that room where you have to be on one side. It's inside the castle where you got to be on one side of the castle adjusting the crank, and Ashley's got to be on the other side adjusting the crank.
Mhm.
So in that room, I remember there was
Oh, the water room.
yeah, in the water room. How do you get around the difficulty hump on that? Right before you reach that stage, you hit start and hit retry.
Yeah,
Like hit
reload
load,
it reloads the whole map again.
yeah. Not only does it reload, it not only reloads the map, but it also resets. So like what was originally going to be 4 additional enemies, they're gone.
Yeah, it just resets it back to what if you did kill all the enemies, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's less ammo you got to fucking deal with, and it's like, all
Yep.
right, cool. You can focus on Ashley and all that stuff. So I'll be honest with you, that to this day is still the most stress-inducing fucking scene part
Very
in
stressful
existence,
person.
unless you're playing on professional with her in the armor where she can't get picked up anyway. It's like, I can just concentrate on these guys on the ground
It's like,
and she get picked up and then she's just gonna get dropped down anyway, so it don't fucking matter.
yep.
So it's
I love that attention to detail. They put her in the armor, they can't pick her up.
yeah, they can't pick her up. She can't be,
She
so
can't even get hurt either.
so it makes that mode less stressful, honestly, which I think is good. But like I said, I'm curious to see where it goes. I hope we get a trailer very soon on that because I think everybody's kind of antsy and anticipating what this all is going to mean for Resident Evil because it's Resident Evil. So, but yeah, that's it for pressing buttons. I think we did a pretty good job today on all this and stuff. And yeah, I guess we'll probably be back next month when all the games that's popping is going to
Yep.
come out and post KOF, post Horizon and stuff. But yeah, definitely follow us on Twitch and stuff. We're definitely going to still be streaming stuff. I finally beat Judgment, so I'll probably be streaming Lost Judgment because I always
Okay.
have fun with that. So but yeah, that is it. You got anything, sir, before we head out?
Yeah, just be sure to follow all of us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter. Excuse me, 3 Black Geeks. I'm at Black Nerd Japan. CJ is at CJ Wiz Geek. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.